Alright, I'm going to document how it is exactly that I animate. I'm working on a bouncing ball assault course right now. Organization is really important. This was my first attempt and the second one. Now first of all, I scan each and every single frame that it is I'm drawing. And I can double click on them and it's going to present to me kind of the screen any second now. And this is the way I can kind of scrub through the animation, even though it's not a great way of browsing because it's only including the ball. Cancel. I don't want to update right now. Cancel. Come on. Also, my computer's really slow. Let me close a few things. I don't need OBS Studio right now. I don't need this FLV to MP4. Yes, quit. Well, while I'm waiting for that, I should get Photoshop open. No. Okay. Now where were we? Yes. Assault Course 2. Here it is. Frame 1 is open. And I can kind of just flip through these and have an idea of how it's going. Now, this is not perfect because I needed a frame between 63 and 64. I picked 63.75, but apparently when you label on this, you can see up here it says 63, then the next one is 64, 63.75, it puts it first. So I've gone through and renamed them. I put the numbers first, but afterwards I actually need to name them like 75, that's 3/4 away, I would use the third letter of the alphabet, 63C, and that would work much better. Because Google, the way it saves it, 63.5 or 0.75, it counts that as lower than 63. So if I look at this scrub, it's gonna not go as smoothly. It kind of backs up there because 63.75 is earlier. But I can still get an idea. There's another. Any fractions kind of mess up. So I can get an idea of how things are working, and that's the first step. But I also have to envision what's going to happen and do the timing in my head and do it on paper. And I need the background to be there, but I can't draw the background every single time, so I've imported a background for every part of this animation. I've got a background for the first stage. So you see the pendulum thing is here, the boulder has not fallen yet, and this seesaw is still functional. I've got one with the pendulum gone. Now this is because it swings up and it's got a different timing than the ball, so I need to do that on a different layer. And the boulder is still here, and this is not broken. Now this is just kind of a just in case. I can fool with it on Photoshop if I need to, but I can't remember what I did with that one. This one for when the boulder is falling. So the ball is on top of the seesaw, and he's pulling the boulder with the rope. So they shouldn't be part of the background. Both of them are interacting. I guess I could have had the seesaw as part of the background. I just didn't do that. Here with seesaws there. Now that the boulder's down here, this is broken, and the pendulum thing is back. I actually just changed the way I want the video, the animation to end, so I'm gonna have to go through and change all the backgrounds to add these two ropes. But that'll be later on. Then at a point in the animation, this rope breaks, so we've got two ropes dangling down. And now, what was this one for? I think this was one of those early ones. I named it background 4. What is this one? It's got to be one of the early stages because this rope's not broken. So yeah, so I've got some backgrounds available, and I've got several different frames available. Now, what comes next? Now, I use Flash for my in-betweens, but Flash will not allow me to onion skin any hand-drawn piece. If it's hand-drawn, it won't allow me to onion skin. So I used to do some comic book coloring, and let me show you how that applies. Once you import some layers, there's a tool that you use when coloring called multiply. It allows you to create a layer to color on top of the previous layer, but without messing up the details. You're pretty much putting color on top of it. And well, my first attempt, really, I decided, if I put two papers together and I scan them at the same time and increase the brightness way up, maybe the paper on top is going to show through. Now, it did, but it showed through pretty crappily. It wouldn't get any kind of good detail like what I'm getting now. So option number 2 was to get 2 frames. Anytime when Photoshop opens up here. Come on. Once Photoshop opens up, I'll show how I do that next part. Yep, Photoshop is open. Let's full screen it. And close this. I'll first open up Assault Course 2. Let's pick frame number 1. Just frame 1. Now frame 1 is going to be on background number 1. I mean, that's the first background that shows. So let's scroll down to backgrounds. Background 1, 1A, to background 1. Let's use that one. That's actually kind of ugly. Let's use background 2 just for demonstration. It would be background 1, but background 1 was I wasn't as confident, so I didn't do it very dark. Let's do it with background 1A. No. 1D, sure, why not? Background 1D. So now to get these together, you use this tool over here, the rectangular marquee, I guess. Rectangular marquee, which is the hotkey is V, and you highlight this. Wait, is hotkey V for that? No, it's not V. It's M. Hotkey is M. Now you use this tool, the move tool, Control V, to highlight this and drag it into the background. Now increase the size to full screen it just for your benefit. Now you've got the ball on here. You see it's in here. Now you drag it up a little bit. Watch it snap. Snap. There it goes. Now go to the side. Watch it until it snaps. Whoops. Snap. There it goes. So now they're superimposed. You go to this first layer and click multiply. And there you go. Now you save it as a JPEG. And when you save it as a JPEG, then just pick what you want to name it as. And there you've got a frame. I saved them under what's called rough. Now, suppose we had a background that was different. Let's say we didn't use this background. Let's say we used a background that did not have the pendulum in it. So let's pick a background 1B, 1A perhaps. Yeah, let's use 1A. Oh, I've got to do this bit again, but it doesn't take me long. Doesn't matter what you drag onto it. I usually drag the other thing onto the background, but I've already got the background open, so I'll just do it the reverse. I'm working right now on a laptop. This is kind of an old laptop. I could definitely benefit from a newer. Okay, there you go. Let's just drag this onto here. So things are running pretty slowly. I don't have a lot of memory, data, or whatever you want to call it. But just bear with me. Multiply, and bam, we're there. Come on. Alright. Okay, we've got both of these. Layer 1 is the ball. Layer background is the background. Maybe actually I should do that this way. So background is actually the background layer, but we don't have a pendulum. So I've actually opened and saved a whole sequence for just the pendulum. Let me show you what that looks like from this file. I called it pendulum A. So let's open up 36A, and I'll tell you how I named these. I named these based on, now 36 did not have the ball is here. So the ball's right here, so there is no regular 36. There's no regular 40. There's no regular 47, 52, or 58. Because the ball is here. But now, the ball is getting ready to jump, and it jumps here. So panel 61, the ball jumps. So the ball is moving up here in this direction, and the pendulum is going this direction. But they're happening at the same time. So the ball is called 61, is frame 61, whereas the pendulum is 61A. Now the ball moves further away onto frame 64. I call this one 64A. All of this is happening at the same time. This pendulum is coming back as the ball is going forward. So in order to illustrate that, we've already got this happening here. Let's say the ball is, let's get rid of layer 1. Let's pick, okay, let's pick frame 64. Okay, frame 64. Yes, that'll work. Got frame 64. Now we have to also open a background that doesn't have a pendulum. So let's use background 1A again. Just drag that onto here. Well, hold on, I've got to minimize this a little bit so I can see where I'm dragging it to. 1A onto frame 64. Snap and yeah, snap and snap. It's good. Multiply. So now they're both there, but we need frame 64A for that pendulum. So open pendulum A, 64A, not 63A, 64A, and now we import this. I called it 73A, sure, but it's because I added frames and took frames out. I named it officially 64A. It just says 73 because I didn't rescan it. I just renamed it. But it's 64. So drag that here. Whoops. Hold on. I don't have the right thing on. V to get the drag tool. Now I drag this here. Bam, and multiply. And there we go. Now we've got another frame. You just save this as necessary. Go to frame 67, rinse and repeat. Then the final step, you get onto Flash. And you click Import. Now I saved all of my final pieces under this area called Rough. Like everything with everything attached. So let's look at frame 1. There it is. I'm going to put control. Let me just open these up. Add some empty keyframes. Frame 1, Control R. Frame 3, move over, Control R. Frame 6, move over, Control R. Frame 9, sequence. Heck yeah. This sometimes happens. It usually do like 3 or 4 frames. And if you've got them labeled with letters and not numbers, if you have numbers, it's going to mess you up to do it this way. But if you have letters, then yeah, anytime it says that, I only did like 1. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. Alright, so when I get to this point, I can actually scrub through it a little bit. Let's take it a little further. I want this this deal to move, and I probably shouldn't have done what I did by enlarging this. Because if you enlarge it, you risk the chance that it's not going to paste things in the right spot anymore. BG, okay, frame 9, 10, Control R, what comes after 10 here, 12, I was afraid of that, Yeah, once you start pasting, you really have to keep everything exactly as it is. Because yeah, sure I can move this, but now I've got time added to time that I'm going to be wasting by fixing that. I'm just demoing, so I'm not going to do that now. 12, 16, Control R, 18. And what's next? Control R, 18. Oh, it must be a 20 something then. 12. Yeah, I'm just gonna scroll down. 18, 24. After 24 we have what now? 30. Just a couple more. 30. Surely there's another 30 in here. Oh, another 36. Control R. 40. Control R. 47. So that's enough. You got the idea. I'm not going to adjust that shifting thing. Just if you start pasting, paste them all, or paste most of them, fix the extras. It's not worth the trouble. So we got this bouncing up, it scrolls, the pendulum now is moving. Let me remove these frames, I'm not going to do that. I think you've got the idea. Bounce, bam, bounce, bam. Yep, so that's the general idea. The time that I'm going to have that overlapping action, or the two things happening at the same time, the pendulum is going to be one. I've got to create another frame and another sequence to get this pendulum, because everything else is happening at the same time. And I'm going to have to do that as well down here when this rope breaks. I need because this rope's going to start, like this side is just going to be string, it's going to dangle a little bit. This one's going to be having the ball on it, it's going to dangle a little heavier. But even after the ball's moving, they're not going to be completely still, so I need a separate frame for those. Hold on a second, I didn't change the default on here. It's on 12 frames per second. Never animate on 12 frames per second. Make sure it's 24. And let's see, in case of exporting, let's see how big the next panel. Okay, looking at the height, this is about needs about 30% more on the height. So let's see what the height is. The height is 400. So like half of that, that's 200. 1/3, 3's into 4. That's at 120. Let's see 520 for the height. Well, let's see 600 for the height. That's okay. Maybe 615. Yeah, that'll work for the height. And now for the width, we're needing it to increase a little bit less than half. So the width right now is 550. Let's do 250 extra, so 800. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay, it's on 24. So we need to switch this on to 2s. Let's remove that frame. Put it on to 2s. Bam, bam. I'm going to leave this one here on 1s. That's a pretty fast motion. 2s. Yeah, everything else will be on 2. I'll just leave that one spot. I want that kind of that quick burst. The way I like to animate when I'm doing arcs, as soon as the arc is kind of going on a downturn, like it jumps up. In fact, I kind of want to do this one on 1s. This is the end of an arc. So up, this is the down. Let's get this one on 1s as well. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I like that. Boom, shoo, boom, shoo. Yeah, I like that. But that's it in a nutshell. It took a little bit longer than I thought to break this down, but that's how it's done. Yeah, for anyone who is masochist enough and or can't afford a Cintiq, or just loves the idea of hand-drawn animation, which any of the above, if there's any reason that you would want to do this, this is how to do it. Thank you for watching.